Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars. Teachers and trainers, professors, professionals, officers, officials, listener learners. I welcome all respected doctors and directors. I welcome all honorable ministerial managers. I welcome all honorable advocates, advisors, administrative advisors. I welcome the most honorable President Modiji. Really nice time, nice place, nice action. Today you are listening YouTube channel 3 and creator, you are watching, listening and thinking that how our holy Indian cultural constitutional changes unite us in the form of unity and diversity. Our freedom fighters, free thinkers, astronomers, astrologers, those who came in the world in India for the welfare, betterment, upliftment of our humanity. Their chief aim was to bring visionary, revolutionary change in the thoughts of our youngsters. The present PM, present rulers started numberless programs for improving, uplifting lifestyle of our youngsters. As it is said that thoughts of our youngsters are deeper than sky, deeper than ocean, higher than sky. So unlimited is the name of our cultural, spiritual, social changes. Whatsoever we see around the world, what's provided to the world. In that, we see the glimpse of our country, glimpse of our nation. Our nation has been the creators since time immemorial, natural, since its beginning. So today we see that digitally, electronically, our India is not only our India but all the world is running after downloading, recording, collecting, imitating. But Indian thoughts and philosophy takes us towards the imagination. Imagination is known as the best educational technology, where we learn numberless, mysterious, objects of the world. Let us go through what changes we see in India economically, politically, socially. India, Oman, Inc. FTAs, when Mr. Modi holds talks with Sultan to reduce trade barriers, create stable framework from Muscat. India and Oman on Thursday signed a free trade agreement as Prime Minister Modi held talks with Sultan Haitham bin Harik and explored ways to further add greater depth to the bilateral strategic partnership. Modi, who arrived in Oman on Wednesday on the last leg of his three-nation tour, was welcomed by Sultan Haitham at AI Barak Palace in Muscat. Before their one-on-one talks at the delegation level meeting, today we are taking a historic step towards forward with India-Oman relation, whose positive impact will be felt for decades to come. A comprehensive economic partnership agreement will energize our ties in the 21st century. Modi said. Modi thanked the Sultan for his efforts in finalizing the historic CEPA, as he described it as a new and golden chapter of bilateral cooperation. The pact will increase trade between the two countries by reducing trade barriers and creating a stable framework. It will unlock opportunities in all major sectors of the economy, enhance economic growth, create jobs, and boost investment flows between both countries. The agreement will provide duty-free access to a host of Indian labor-intensive sectors, including engineering, goods, and textiles. CEOs can employ up to 50% Indian staff in Oman office. Oman has offered to ease norms for Indian companies operating in the Gulf country under the bilateral trade pact signed on Thursday, allowing them to employ up to 50% of their total staff from their India office. The provisions is part of CEPA signed by the two countries. Our transit rivals in rural falls, Kejri Hills, free and fair sweep from Chandigarh. The ruling are swept the December 14 Jilla Parishad and Panchayat Samiti election in Punjab, securing 218 of 347 Jilla Parishad zones and 1,531 out of 2,838 Panchayat Samiti zones. Haryana Speaker admits cons no trust motion discussion today from Times News Network. The first day of the Haryana Assembly return session passed off smoothly but ended on an abrupt note with opposition Congress MLAs staging over the House approving an extension of the privilege committee probing an alleged incident of misbehavior with the party MLA Ashok Arora during a Thaneshwar Municipal Council meeting. Supreme Court to meet parents of man in coma for 12 years. The Supreme Court expressed its desire on Thursday to meet the parents of a 31-year-old man lying in a comatose condition for more than 12 years while considering his father's plea for passive euthanasia by withdrawing artificial life support. The man suffered head injuries after falling from the fourth floor of building in 2013. He is on an artificial support system for more than 12 years now. Alas, not to Zigram bill amid protest by opponents. New Delhi, the Lok Sabha on Thursday passed a bill that seeks to replace the 20-year-old Mandega with a new initiative that guarantees rural jobs for 125 days every year amid vociferous protest by the opposition and Union Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan asserting that the change was necessary to fix shortcomings in the skill. Two visa centers in Bangladesh shut amid anti-India protest. Injured on leave, retired colonel wins disability pension. Supreme Court battle from Chandigarh. Granting disability pension to a retired colonel who sustained an injury in service 43 years ago. Supreme Court has dismissed an appeal filed in 2015 by the centre challenging a decision of Punjab and Haryana High Court. Ex High Court judges can preside over division benches. Supreme Court says modifying its 2021 judgment. The Supreme Court said on Thursday that retired High Court judges who were later appointed as ad hoc judges to clear the backlog of criminal cases can preside over a single judge bench or a division bench. The Supreme Court also asked the centre to frame a policy or fine tune the existing one on the appointment of former High Court judges as ad hoc judges, saying there is such a vast pool of judicial talent. They retire at the age of 62 years and their experience can be used to deal with the pendency. Three from family die as SUV falls into gorge. Speed limits for buses on electronic waste cut. CCI to look into Indigo flight cancellations. Kejriwal calls victory pro incumbency mandates stamp of approval for man government in 2013 and 2018 elections for Zilla Parishad and Panchayat Samitis were held during the honeymoon period of the Kalidal and Congress governments, respectively, almost a year after they were voted in. But this time elections have been held a little over a year before assembly election. The results show a pro-incumbency factor. Upswing in rural heartland dominates Hoshiarpur, Amritsar, Patiala and Tarantar. Thin margins in 580 seats, says Apchi. BJP wins few but manages rural push from Jalandhar. Reality check for squash ducks in Bathinda, Mansa from Chandigarh. Kali's win villages where Saturdays cases caused political rot from Bathinda. South Malwa, revival for party. Unbelievable holidays at the rate unbeatable price, joyful journey, fabulous family, magical march. ED raids immigration agents house office from Pehova, Kurukshetra. Puran Kumar suicide SIT records 10 officers statement from Chandigarh. Folk loves two states in anxiety, teacher body demands reduction in school hours from Chandigarh. Encroachments raised to ensure safe travel from Kurukshetra. Prime Minister unmoved by Delhi West Chamber, Kejriwal says from Chandigarh. 14 posts not filled, staff crunch, else Haryana Health Department from Chandigarh. As many as 5,384 posts are lying vacant. across key medical and paramedical categories in the Haryana Health Department, according to official data tabled in the Vidhan Sabha on Thursday. Father held for forcing marriage from Yamuna police commandos deployed at MDU from Rohtak, underpass plan century life for NOC from Ambara, Kanati Kurukshetra to hold Medal Alumni Day from Kurukshetra. Haryana has robust forensic protocol from Chandigarh. For clocks to states in anxiety, teacher body demands reduction in school hours from Chandigarh. The Democratic Teachers Front DTF Punjab has demanded a reduction in school hours in view of the prevailing dense fog and fear called citing concerns over the health and safety of students and encroachment raised to ensure safe travel from Kurukshetra. With winter fog significantly reducing visibility on roads, the Kurukshetra district administration has directed authorities to ensure that no encroachments obstruct traffic, particularly along highways and major roads. Prime Minister, unmoved by Delhi Gracious Chamber, Kejriwal says from Chandigarh. Puran, Puran Kumar suicide SIT records 10 officers' statements from Chandigarh. The Special Investigation Team SIT for to probe ADGP rank IPS officer Y. Puran Kumar's suicide has so far recorded statements of 10 of the total 14 IPS and IAS officers named in the homicide note. According to an official, former Haryana DGP Satrajit Kapoor has also been questioned. It is at the immigration agent's house office from Pehova. Team races against time to save a tangled sea lion in British Columbia. China faces influx of overseas students amid visa job cuts from Beijing. Ukraine delegation to hold talks in West Fridays from Saturday. Putin says Russia will take more land in Ukraine if Europe sinks peace. Moves US rallies new sanction. If Putin rejects deal, the US is preparing a fresh round of sanctions on Russia's energy sector to increase the pressure on Moscow. Should President Vladimir Putin reject a peace agreement with Ukraine? According to sources familiar with the matter, the US is considering options such as targeting vessels in Russia's so-called shadow fleet of tankers as well as traders who facilitate the transaction, said the sources who spoke on condition of anonymity. The new measures could be unveiled as early as this week, the sources said. From Moscow, President Putin said on Wednesday Russia would take more land in Ukraine by force if given European leaders who he cast as young pigs. He did not engage over US proposals for a peace deal. At an annual defense minister meeting, he said Russia was advancing on all fronts. If the opposing side and their foreign patrons refuse to engage in substantive discussion, Russia will assess the liberation of its historical lands by military means, Putin said. US announces 11 billion dollars in arms package for Taiwan from Washington. The Trump administration announced Congress on Wednesday to approve an arms package for Taiwan, valued at more than 11 billion dollars in what would be a huge injection of military aid to the self-governing democratic island, bracing for long-feared invasion by China. If approved by Congress, as is likely given Taiwan strong bipartisan support. The package would exceed the $24 billion in arms hold to Taiwan during the Biden administration, according to the figures recently compiled by the research arm of Britain's House of Commons, and it would be equivalent to more than half the $18.3 billion held to Taiwan during President Donald Trump's first term in office. Austrian Prime Minister only gets re-elected as CPN UML chair for third term from Kathmandu. Former Bangladesh Prime Minister health continues to be critical, Dr. says from Dhaka. In holiday speech, Trump highlights victories amid sinking approval ratings. Trump gives a partisan prime time address insisting the economy is stronger than many voters feel from Washington. नेशनल हेराल्ड के राहुल गांधी समेत करने के खिलाफ ईडी न्याय कोर्ट का किया रुख सोनिया से विशेषज्ञ देंगे क्रेडिट कार्ड से फायदा या नुकसान अमेरिका ने सीरिया में आईएसआई पर किया बड़ा हमला अमेरिका ने आईएसआईएस के 70 से अधिक ठिकानों को बनाया निशाना क्रेडिट कार्ड का कैसे करें सही इस्तेमाल प्रधानमंत्री मोदी आज पश्चिम बंगाल के दौरे पर प्रधानमंत्री पश्चिम बंगाल में नेशनल हाईवे प्रोजेक्ट का करेंगे उद्घाटन प्रधानमंत्री पश्चिम बंगाल में नेशनल हाईवे प्रोजेक्ट की आधारशिला भी रखेंगे प्रधानमंत्री असम में विकास परियोजनाओं का करेंगे उद्घाटन प्रधानमंत्री गुवाहाटी में हवाई अड्डे के नए टर्मिनल भवन का करेंगे उद्घाटन सहस्त्र सीमा आज एसएनबी ने हमेशा देश को करण में शेष नेशनल हेराल्ड केस में दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट पहुंचे सोनिया राहुल गांधी समेत अन्य के खिलाफ ईडी हाई कोर्ट का किया आरोप Trump gives a partisan prime time address insisting the economy is stronger than many voters feel from Washington. He and Donald Trump delivered a politically charged speech Wednesday carried living prime time on network television seeking to pin the blame for economic challenges. Economic challenges on Democrats while announcing he is sending 7,776 bonus dollars check to US troops for Christmas. The remarks came as the nation is preparing to settle down to celebrate the holidays. Yet Trump was focused more on divisions within the country than a sense of unity. His speech was a rehash of his recent messaging that has so far been unable to calm public anxiety about the cost of groceries, housing, utilities, and other basic goods. Trump has job market has weakened sharply in the wake of his import taxes. Trump suggested that his tariffs, which are partly responsible for boosting consumer prices, would fund a new warrior dividend for 1.45 million military members, a payment that could ease some of the financial strain for many households. The amount of $1,776 was a reference to next year's 215th anniversary of the state signing of the Declaration of Independence. The checks are already on the way. He said of the expenditure, which would total roughly $2.6 billion. Presidential addresses to the nation carried on network television are traditionally less partisan than rally speeches, but Trump gave a condensed version of his usual political remarks, flanked by two Christmas trees with a portrait of George Washington behind him in the White House's diplomatic reception room. Trump sought to pin any worries about the economy on his predecessor, Joe Biden. 11 months ago, I inherited a mess and I am fixing it. Trump said we are poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen. His holiday wishes came at a crucial time as he tries to rebuild his steadily eroding popularity. Public polling shows most US adults are frustrated with his handling of the economy as inflation picked up after his tariffs raised prices and hiring slowed. In holiday speech, Trump highlights victories amid shrinking approval ratings. Polls shows only 33% approve of president's economic handling from Washington. In a real evening address from the White House, US President Donald Trump boasted on Wednesday of his accomplishments and blamed his democratic traditions for soaring consumer prices on his party braces for a rough midterm election next year. 11 months ago, I inherited a mess and I am fixing it, Trump said in a speech that lasted less than 20 minutes and was delivered at a jarringly rapid fire pace. The Republican president, who regularly protests that he does not get credit for his accomplishments, offered few new policy initiatives to address high cost. The speech instead was delivered with a pronounced sense of grievance, with Trump complaining about migrant invasions, violent crime, and transgender rights in the White House's diplomatic reception room, festooned with holiday decor. He placed blame at the feet of former President Joe Biden previous trade deals, immigrants, and what he had described as a corrupt system. At the same time, Trump touted his administration's work with administration's work this year on a range of issues from reducing border crossings to bringing down prices of some goods, and he promised the nation would be stronger next year. Among the few policy initiatives Trump recounted, his administration would send a one-year dividend of $1,776 to 145 million US service members in the coming week. He also backed a Republic proposal to send cash directly to the public to offset the cost of health insurance rather than provide subsidies to the Affordable Care Act. That proposal has yet to receive enough support in Congress. I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care, Trump said. The only losers will be the insurance companies. The only losers will be the insurance companies. Surprisingly, he spent little time addressing foreign affairs, a subject that occupied much of his first year back in office. He made a passing reference to the war in Gaza but made to mention of the war in Ukraine or the brewing conflict with Venezuela. The arrest offered an opportunity for the president to address people's concerns about affordability, an issue that Trump has repeatedly referred to as a democratic hoax. While casting blame on Biden's presidency. Trump concerned that prices remain high, but argued the nation was poised for an economic boom. Trump demanded, Trump demands Venezuela pay or seize US oil assets from Washington. Venezuelan Navy escorts vessels after Trump's blockade threat. Nicolas Maduro, the leader of the Venezuela, ordered his navy to escort ships carrying petroleum products from port, risking a confrontation with the United States on the high seas as he defied President Donald Trump's declaration of a blockade aimed at the country's oil industry. Several ships sailed from Venezuela forward toward Asia with the Venezuelan naval escorts between Tuesday evening and Wednesday morning. Said sea people familiar with the transits. None of the commercial vessels are on the list of sanctions set off by the Trump administration. The seizure of the tank last week, Trump began carrying out Operation campaign against Venezuela, which includes lethal boat strikes that were widely deemed illegally by law experts. Maduro has remained from answering with force. But what is the blood of Venezuela's economy by cutting off some tanker traffic and seizing the oil? From Washington, President Donald Trump demanded Wednesday that Venezuela return assets that it seized from US oil companies years ago, justifying anew his announcements of a blockade against oil tankers traveling toward from the south. Friends in Venezuela demanded about his newest tactic in a pressure campaign against leader Nicolas Maduro, suggesting his administration moves are at least somewhat motivated by disputes over oil investments along with accusations of drug trafficking. Some sanctioned tankers already are diverting away from Venezuela. We are not going to be letting anybody going who shouldn't be going to. Trump told reporters, you remember they took all your energy rights. They took all of our oil not that long ago and we want it back. They took it. They illegally took it. US oil companies dominated Venezuela's petroleum industry until the country's leaders moved to nationalize the sector first in the 1970s and again in the 21st century under the Maduro and his predecessors. Maduro coverage compensation of conferred by Venezuela as deemed insufficient, and in 2014 an international arbitration panel ordered the country's socialist government to pay $1.6 billion to ExxonMobil while Venezuela's oil has long dominated relations with the US. The Trump administration had focused on Maduro's links to drug traffickers, accusing his government of facilitating the shipment of dangerous drugs in the US. In his social media post Tuesday night, Trump said Venezuela was using US announces $11 billion in arms package for Taiwan. प्रधानमंत्री असम में विकास परियोजना का करेंगे उद्घाटन के दौरे को लेकर लोगों में जबरदस्त उत्साह। प्रधानमंत्री गुवाहाटी में हवाई अड्डे के नए टर्मिनल। पीएम मोदी का पश्चिम बंगाल और असम का दौरा। सशस्त्र सीमा बल का आज 62वां स्थापना दिवस। दोनों राज्यों को बड़ी विकास परियोजनाओं का मिलेगा उपहार। अमित शाह एसएसबी ने हमेशा देश को गौरवान्वित किया। पश्चिम बंगाल में 32 करोड़ की 2 राष्ट्रीय राजमार्ग परियोजनाओं का शुभारंभ। गुवाहाटी गोपीनाथ बारदोलाई हवाई अड्डे के नए टर्मिनल भवन का होगा शुभारंभ। अमेरिका ने सीरिया में आईएसआईएस पर किया बड़ा हमला। परियोजनाएं क्षेत्र में कनेक्टिविटी। पीएम के दौरे को लेकर लोगों में जबरदस्त उत्साह। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी आज पश्चिम बंगाल के दौरे पर रहेंगे। ये मोदी का पश्चिम बंगाल और असम का दौरा। प्रधानमंत्री पश्चिम बंगाल में नेशनल हाईवे प्रोजेक्ट का करेंगे उद्घाटन। दोनों राज्यों में बड़ी विकास परियोजनाओं का मिलेगा उपहार। पश्चिम बंगाल में 3200 करोड़ की 2 राष्ट्रीय राजमार्ग परियोजनाओं का शुभारंभ। प्रधानमंत्री असम में विकास परियोजनाओं का करेंगे उद्घाटन। गुवाहाटी गोपीनाथ बारडोलाई हवाई अड्डे का उद्घाटन। प्रधानमंत्री गुवाहाटी में परियोजना क्षेत्र में कनेक्टिविटी और आर्थिक प्रगति के खुलेंगे नए। पीएम के दौरे को लेकर लोगों में जबरदस्त उत्साह। हमेशा से एसएसबी ने हमेशा देश को गौरवान्वित किया। Kong walks out over extension of privilege panel. Speaker admits no confidence motion against CM Sharing. From Chandigarh, the first day of the Haryana Assembly's winter session passed off largely smoothly but ended on an abrupt note with opposition Congress MLA staging a walkout over the House, approving an extension of the privilege committee, probing an alleged incident of misbehavior with party MLA Ashok Arora during a Thanishwar Municipal Council meeting. The Congress had demanded a discussion on the incident report, but Speaker Ravinder Kalyan said deliberations would take place only within the committee. Committee Chairman Ulchan Sharma presented the report while seeking an extension of its tenure when the House passed the proposal without discussion. Congress MLAs walked out. Farmers' interest to paramount, CM says. CM Singh said the government was considering the situation in flood affected areas seriously. He said he personally visited affected regions and interacted with farmers regarding the removal of sand trees to ensure that if excessive sand has accumulated in any field, permission for its removal will be granted. He said when it was found that the sand deposition was not significant, he added the CM was responding to a question by MLA Ram Karan about granting permission for the removal of sand deposited in fields due to floods. Efforts on to improve water supply. Referring to drinking water in Rohtak, Saini said it was the utmost responsibility of the government to ensure adequate drinking water for every citizen, and the government was continuously working in this direction. In the same spirit, efforts are being made to ensure drinking water supply to every household in Rohtak as well. He added the CM was replying to a question by MLA Bharat Bhushan Batra, saying that for the construction of a reservoir, 16 acres of land belonging to the MC Rohtak was proposed to be transferred to the village concerned. A pump on the Sonipat road, which is not functioning properly, is being repaired and its capacity is being enhanced, he said. It built on the first day of the winter session. A total of 8 bills were tabled. These include the Haryana Shri Mata Mansa Devi Shrine Amendment Bill 2025, the Haryana Shri Mata Shitla Devi Shrine Amendment Bill 2025, the Haryana Shri Mata Bhimeshwari Devi Mandir Ashram Dairy Shrine Amendment Bill 2025, the Haryana Antarashtriya Gita Jayanti Mela Authority Amendment Bill 2025, the Haryana Shri Kapal Mohan Shri Badri Narayan Shri Mantri Devi and Shri Kedarnath Shrine Amendment Bill 2025, the Haryana Municipal Corporation Amendment Bill 2025, the Haryana Panchayati Raj Second Amendment Bill 2025, and the Haryana Municipalities Bill 2025. Nayab welcome for Buddha as LOP signals new assembly tone from Chandigarh, setting a new tone on the first day of Haryana Legislative Assembly's winter session. Chief Minister Nab Singh Saining on Thursday broke with convention by welcoming Bhupender Singh Hooda as the leader of opposition. The Congress named Hooda for the post nearly a year after the assembly election in August last year. It was the first time he attended the session as LOP of the Constitution of the Assembly and cited individual but personal animosity had no place in public life and the people's interest must always come first. He added, the opposition will confine itself to political disagreement only and we hope the ruling side will do the same so both sides could serve the people better. Welcoming the opposition leader Singh highlighted Huda's seniority and experience, calling him a symbol of political wisdom, legislative diligence, and deep administrative understanding. Singh said that from student politics to the assembly and parliament, he played an active role on all platforms. On every platform, I experienced leading to be elected 4 times to the Lok Sabha and 6 times to the Haryana Assembly, he said. He said Huda served as the CM for 10 years, gaining parliamentary expertise, procedural knowledge, and a strong grasp of issues which will benefit both the government and the opposition. The CM emphasized on the crucial role of the opposition leader in a democracy, noting that opposition raised questions on government policies provided suggestions and ensured the public's voice reaching the House. He expressed confidence that having an experienced leader like Huda will make the proceedings of the Assembly more meaningful, serious, and constructive. Which took poetic way, BJP Minister Anil Vij in a poetic style took uh, जीवे एट हुडा से हवाएं लाख मुखालिफ हों मगर मगर ताया है कि मगर तय है कि दिया वही जलेगा जो अपनी जिद पे अड़ा हो. No matter how strong the opposing winds may be, it is certain that the lamp will burn only where steadfast determination stands. Congratulating him, he added, your persistence has won, but Assam, referring to another faction in Congress led by Kumari Shelja and Randeep Surjewala has lost. जॉर्डन अर्थव्यवस्था में चमक ला रहा है भारतीय. गुजरात के जौहरी स्थानीय लोगों को दे रहे हैं रोजगार. नेशनल हेराल्ड केस में दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट पहुंची ईडी. गुजरात बोर्ड में 100 से ज्यादा स्थानीय कारीगर. सोनिया राहुल गांधी समेत ईडी. अमेरिका ने सीरिया में आईएसआईएस पर किया बड़ा हमला. जॉर्डन के आर्थिक विकास में जॉर्डन की अर्थव्यवस्था में चमक ला रहे हैं भारतीय. प्रधानमंत्री आज पश्चिम बंगाल के दौरे पर रहेंगे. नेक्स्ट हियरिंग इन JNK MLA PSA question on December 27 from Jammu. Forgery case, MLA fails to get relief from High Court from Shimla. Anti-social elements opposing Bijli Mahadev project. Raj from Rajasthan-based MS Ravi Infra Build Projects Limited informed the entity that it already spent 35 crore rupees on the project from Kullu. Help Nishak victims don't take videos, DC says from Shimla. Traffic calls at Shah said to visit Kangla from Kullu. Remote Laul Spiti had a stray dog problem from Laul Spiti. Judicial panel to record oral testimonies from today from Srinagar. CM targeting former Kong MLAs Jairam Shesh from Shimla. Monsoon disaster High Court prods Himachal government on CSR lapses. Identified funds which fall under provisions of Section 135 from Shimla. Tricol to invest nearly 600 crore rupees in 2 years from Chennai. This year, we hope to undertake about 250 crore rupees in capex as we begin new investment cycle. Vikram Mohan, MD of Tricol from Chennai, says. India's tech startups raised $10.5 billion in 2025, says traction funding 17% lower than 2024, ranks third behind US UK. Good idea arm raises 3,300 crore rupees via debentures from New Delhi. Britannia pays Britannia pays out for surge in demand post GST reset from Bangalore. Stock markets declined for first day on weak global trends. When someone causes you stress, most of most of us do realize that feeling stressed out is bad for our physical and mental health. With this awareness, we try to make sustained efforts to work through our stress. There are times when we are trying our best to stay calm, feel positive, and deal with trials and tribulations of existence with a smile. But there is this one person in our lives who makes it difficult for us. It could be a narcissistic boss who devalues whatever we do and demeans our being, a co-worker who is envious of our progress and keeps creating bizarre obstacles, a spouse who constantly nags us for not being good enough and threatens to leave, a relative who manipulates us across around tarnishing our image in society, a neighbor who loves speaking out fights over trivial issues, or a family member who keeps on lamenting our past mistakes when confronted with such situations. We often react with anger and disappointment, and our inner peace goes haywire. We wonder what we can do during such times and how we can set things right. Firstly, it is very important to call upon inner peace and stop reaching to such situations, no matter how strong our reaction and outbursts are. They will never solve our problem. In such situation, we need to be like a strong rock which is unperturbed by volatile currents of water. We must constantly remind ourselves that our goal is cultivating inner peace and we will attain it no matter what. This stance makes us feel powerful and in control of our reaction. Once our inner calm is resorted, we can think of ways in which we can deal with this person and this situation. The easiest way to deal with such people is to continue doing what is right and helpful and overlook their negative commentary by reminding oneself that is not grounded in truth and comes from a space of emotional disturbance. Remember that when something is filled with illusions, delusions, and hatred, there is no point in engaging with it because no matter what we do, there will never be any resolution. We must direct all our attention to developing our potential patience, peace, and power so that we can thrive even in a toxic environment. At the same time, we must continue to look for an exit route so that we get a more conducive environment for our self growth. In Ramayana, Rishi Vishwamitra decided that the external environment should be such that it enables the person to connect his inner consciousness with the supreme consciousness. Although the person must master his emotion, thoughts, and passion, he must keep away from demonic and destructive forces because these forces can steal the person progress and drag his consciousness to a primitive level. Therefore, when someone causes you stress, continue to walk on the path of inner peace, self-growth and divine realization so that you keep growing and progressing. At the same time, look for the nearest exit point so that you can find a better space for your life journey and make the experience a memorable one. What's the beautiful game without ordinary fan? FIFA's World Cup tickets price out. Most die-hard football lovers. Cheaper tickets are too few. Add to this Trump's travel bans and visa hassles. World's favorite supporting tournament had earned its first yellow card. Here are 10 things India should do to kill smog. The solutions are not rocket science, but they require real governance. वंदे मातरम भारत की जीवित भावना का प्रतीक। वंदे मातरम भारत में नई जागृति और पुनर्जागरण का मंत्र बना। प्रधानमंत्री असम में विकास परियोजना का करेंगे उद्घाटन। सभी भाषाओं से प्रिय है वंदे मातरम गीत। सशस्त्र सीमा बल का आज 62वां स्थापना दिवस। वंदे मातरम अलग अलग भाषाओं में अनुवाद कन्नड़, गुजराती, हिंदी, तेलुगु, तमिल, मलयालम, उड़िया। नेशनल हेराल्ड केस में दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट पहुंची ईडी। महाकवि सुब्रमण्यम भारती ने वंदे मातरम का तमिल में अनुवाद किया। सोनिया राहुल गांधी समेत अन्य के खिलाफ ईडी। तेलुगु कवि पुरजोर ने वंदे मातरम का तेलुगु में अनुवाद किया। महान दार्शनिक श्री अरविंदो ने वंदे मातरम का अंग्रेजी में अनुवाद किया। अमेरिका ने आईएसआईएस के 70 से अधिक ठिकानों को बनाया निशाना। वंदे मातरम भारत की जीवित भावना का प्रतीक। वंदे मातरम भारत में नई जागृति और पुनर्जागरण का मंत्र बना। तमिल में अनुवाद महाकवि सुब्रमण्यम भारती ने वंदे मातरम का तमिल भाषा में अनुवाद किया। वंदे मातरम भारत में नई जागृति सभी भाषाओं से परे है। दक्षिणी भारत के लेखकों ने स्थानीय भाषाओं में वंदे मातरम का प्रचार प्रसार किया। प्रधानमंत्री असम विकास परियोजना का करेंगे उद्घाटन। वंदे भारत का अनेक भारतीय भाषाओं में हुआ अनुवाद। सशस्त्र सीमा बल का आज 62वां स्थापना दिवस। महाकवि सुब्रमण्यम भारती ने वंदे मातरम, अमित शाह एसएसबी, अमित शाह नेशनल हेराल्ड केस में दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट पहुंची ईडी। राहुल सोनिया गांधी समेत अन्य के खिलाफ ईडी ने हाई कोर्ट को किया रुख। Here are 10 things India should do to kill smog. The solution are not rocket science, but they require real governance. Indians know they are so real. You don't need a Lok Sabha debate to establish its existence. It's even visible from space. So it doesn't matter that Thursday's long-awaited LS debate on it never happened. What we need are solutions so that Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, small towns and the countryside don't choke on their air. Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air estimates Delhi alone lost 15,200 lives to air pollution in 2023. Overall, bad air deducts 4.9 years of healthy life in capital year every year. For long, skeptics have dismissed bad air as a side effect of growth. गुवाहाटी में अंतर्राष्ट्रीय हवाई अड्डे के नए टर्मिनल भवन का करेंगे उद्घाटन। शासकीय प्रकाश 62वां स्थापना दिवस। पीएम असम में विकास योजनाओं का करेंगे उद्घाटन। कार्यक्रम में प्रधानमंत्री मोदी देंगे वर्चुअल संदेश। मध्य प्रदेश भोपाल में आज मेट्रो का उद्घाटन। भोपाल मेट्रो के पहले चरण में 7.4 किलोमीटर का रूट। सोनिया राहुल समेत ईडी। हिमाचल प्रदेश गृह मंत्री अमित शाह मुख्य अतिथि के तौर पर रहेंगे शामिल। सेवा सुरक्षा और बंधुत्व के संकल्प के साथ एसएसबी राष्ट्र सेवा में तत्पर। Why Beijing can't be Delhi's model? Yes, China naturally reduced urban air pollution. Some of its strategies are worth studying, but an authoritarian government can implement changes a democracy can't, and India can't spend as much as China did. We need our own solutions. There is a Hindi idiom, chutki lena, that loosely translates as teasing, for trolling, mocking, or putting someone down. Social media today is full of people taking chutki or air pollution in Delhi. The recent tweet by Chinese embassy spokesperson offering a step-by-step guide on how Beijing tackled air pollution falls into this category. It is unsolicited, overly generic and not helpful, regardless that the Chinese capital on Thursday suffered a rave smog AQI climbed to 240 after years of pollution clean-up efforts. Researchers in India, including myself, have following Beijing air quality journey closely for years. We have studied the Beijing model, examined its successes, and understood its limitation. One must first recognize a basic reality about information coming out of China. It is tightly controlled and never complete, while general descriptions of actions taken and headline pollution reduction are widely available. Crucial information is missing. Data data on regulatory enforcement, economic cost, public expenditure, private sector liabilities, worker displacement. What to learn from Beijing? Value of regional action plan. The Beijing they didn't have a regional framework enabled coordinated action across an airshed, leading to significant emission redaction. However, it is important to understand the administrative simplicity behind it. प्रधानमंत्री पश्चिम बंगाल नेशनल हेराल्ड हाईवे प्रोजेक्ट की आधारशिला रखेगी आज। प्रधानमंत्री असम में विकास परियोजना का करेंगे उद्घाटन। प्रधानमंत्री गुवाहाटी में हवाई अड्डे के नए टर्मिनल का करेंगे उद्घाटन। सशस्त्र सीमा बल का आज 62वां स्थापना दिवस। अमित शाह एसएसबी ने हमेशा देश को गौरवान्वित किया। अमित शाह से नेशनल हेराल्ड केस में दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट पहुंची ईडी। We from UP family died and rescued contagion to gods from Nainital. The members of the family from Uttar Pradesh were killed and 6 others were injured after their SUV plunged into a deep gorge on the Bhawan Almora highway near Karachi Dham early Thursday, police said. Cannot keep him in this state. Supreme Court to meet parents of youth in coma for over 12 years from New Delhi. The Supreme Court expressed its desire on Thursday to meet the parents of a 31-year-old man lying in a comatose condition for more than 12 years while considering his father's plea for passive euthanasia by enjoying artificial life support. ED attaches fresh 3.4 KCR rupees PACL assets. After 9-year gap, government launches National Mental Health Survey, expands scope and coverage of study from New Delhi. After a 9-year gap, the central government has launched a fresh National Mental Health Survey to assess the scale of mental illness across India, expanding its coverage to all states and cities for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic. National Mental Health Survey 2 NMHS2 being conducted by the National Institute of Mental Health and Neuroscience. Bengaluru will cover adolescents aged 13 to 17 years, adults above 18. The previous survey carried out in 2015-16 had covered only 12 states. Data from the earlier NMHS underlined the scale of the challenge. NMC flagged the importance of legible writing from New Delhi, removed to strengthen patient safety and accountability. National Medical Commission has directed all medical colleges to set up committees to monitor prescription practices and formally teach the importance of clear, legible handwriting to medical students. 2026 election, a battle between evil DMK and pure DVK witnesses from Iran. Granite Vanish case, Allahabad High Court refuses to push ED proceedings. The petitioner further relied on the fact that proceedings in the predicate FIR should stay and consolidated pursuant to orders of the Supreme Court. नहीं थम रही बांग्लादेश में हिंसा, नहीं थम रही बांग्लादेश में हिंसा। विश्व निंदा में आरोप में हिंदू युवक की हत्या। सशस्त्र सीमा बल का आज 62वां स्थापना दिवस। हत्या कर खेला हिंसा का नंगा नाच। नहीं थम रही बांग्लादेश में हिंसा। नेशनल हेराल्ड केस में दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट पहुंची ईडी। बांग्लादेश में दहशत में अल्पसंख्यक समुदाय। सोनिया राहुल गांधी स्मृति पर ईडी। बांग्लादेश में इंसानियत का पतन, भड़के पवन कल्याण, चुन चुन कर किया जा रहा उत्पीड़न। भारतीय सैनिकों ने अपने खून से आजाद कराया। No matches in North during season plays. Not cheap cricket lower. No matches in North during fall season. Please don't cheat cricket lovers. Through says from New Delhi. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor on Thursday called for cricket matches between mid-December to mid-January to be scheduled in South India instead of the North, which experiences heavy fog during the period, so cricket lovers don't feel cheated. Confirm flight status before heading to airport, says AAI. AAI issues home advisory for an India. New Delhi, the airports authority in India, on Thursday issued a weather advisory warning of dense fog conditions across northern India, cautioning passengers about low visibility and possibility flight delayed at several airports. The complete stretch of 212 kilometers from Delhi to Dehradun will have 113 underpasses, 62 bus shelter, and 76 kilometers service road, 16 entry points, and 12 wayside amenities. Guided by country ethos panel on Hasina's stay in India from New Delhi, a parliamentary panel on external affairs has stated has noted the stay of former Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in India, while asserting that the country's approach in this regard is guided by its civilizational ethos and humanitarian tradition of offering refuge to individuals facing circumstances of gravel distress or an existential threat. Delhi Road Expressway to commence early next year from Dehradun. CCI to look into Indigo flight cancellations from New Delhi. What's behind us? Indigo CEO as airline restores 200 flights. From New Delhi, Indigo CEO Pai to Elbers on Thursday told employees that the airline has emerged stronger after a challenging period, saying the worst is behind us as operations stabilized and the career restored its network to 200 flights. In an international message to staff, Albers praised employees across continents for standing united during recent disruptions. Dear Indigo colleagues, through the storm we are finding our wings again. The worst is behind us. These last 2 weeks have been very challenging for all of us, he said, thanking pilots, cabin crew, airport staff, operations control, and customer service team for their support. Traffic to steps taken since December 9, Albert said Indigo had stabilized operations and rapidly rebuilt capacity. After that, we restored our network to 2,200 flights today, given our scale and complexity. Recovering from such a situation in a short time is a testament to our teamwork and the strength of our operating principles, he said, outlining the road ahead. The Indigo CEO and the airline would now focus on three priorities: resilience, root cause analysis, and rebuilding. On resilience, he pointed to the onset of the IROP season and said the focus would be on keeping operations stable and minimizing the impact of external factors on customers on the root cause analysis. Albert's concern. Albert cautioned against speculation and said a comprehensive review was underway. Naidu says government steps in to check opportunistic pricing by airlines. काम न मिलने पर बेरोजगारी भत्ता अमेरिका ने सीरिया में आईएसआईएस पर निशाना खुशहाली की गारंटी जी राम जी 125 दिन के रोजगार की कानूनी गारंटी काम न मिलने पर बेरोजगारी भत्ता प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी आज करेंगे दौरा असम गुवाहाटी प्रधानमंत्री पश्चिम बंगाल में वेस्ट नेशनल हेराल्ड हाईवे का करेंगे उद्घाटन प्रधानमंत्री पश्चिम बंगाल में नेशनल हाईवे प्रोजेक्ट की आधारशिला भी रखेंगे Two smugglers held along the India-Bangladesh border from Kolkata CBI arrest fugitive proclaimed offender in 2013 bank fraud case from Delhi. India resumes Operation Check Visa Center in Dhaka from news from Dhaka. Grant endorsement of Modi's statement Shah on civilian honor from New Delhi. Union Prime Minister Amit Shah said Thursday that Oman's highest civilian honor bestowed upon Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a grand endorsement of his statesmanship and his acceptance as a global leader. In a message posted on X, Shah said the back-to-back honors to our Prime Minister Modi ji attest to the power of 140 crore landline and emergence of Indians and the emergence of India as a transformed nation under his leadership. Oman's highest civilian honor, the first class of the Order of Oman being conferred on PM Shri at the rate Narendra Modi ji is in a grand endorsement of his statesmanship and his acceptance as a global leader. He said Prime Minister Modi received the award during his ongoing two-day visit to Oman, the final leg of his three-nation tour that included Jordan and Ethiopia. This is the latest addition to PM Modi's distinguished list of more than 28 highest civilian awards from foreign nations, including recent honors such as Ethiopia's Great Honor Nishan of Ethiopia and Kuwait's Order of Mubarak AI Kabir. His visit to Muscat marks the 17th anniversary of diplomatic relations between India and Oman, with both sides focusing on deepening strategic partnership on trade, investment, energy, defense, and culture. Companies can employ up to 50% Indian staff in Oman office under trade agreement from New Delhi. Oman has offered to ease norms for Indian companies operating in the Gulf country under the bilateral trade pact signed on Thursday, allowing them to employ up to 50% of their total staff from their India office. 21st century India takes big and swift decisions. Delivers results in time-bound manner, Modi says. Perhaps Modi conferred with the order of Oman Muscat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was on Thursday conferred with the order of Oman. This was Sultanate's uniquely distinct civilian honor by Sultan Haitham bin Tariq for his contributions to strengthening bilateral ties. Prime Minister Modi received the award during his ongoing two-day visit to Oman, the final leg of his three-nation tour that includes Jordan and Ethiopia. This is the latest addition to PM Modi's distinguished list of over 28 highest civilian awards from foreign nations, including recent honors such as Ethiopia's Great Honor Nishan of Ethiopia and Kuwait's Order of War I Kabir. His visit to Muscat marks the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relations between India and Oman, with both sides focusing on deepening strategic partnership in trade, investment, energy, defense, and culture. Modi arrived here on Wednesday. वैशाली की गारंटी जी राम जी नेशनल हेराल्ड का सोनिया गांधी में सब पर ईडी India of the 21st century takes big and swift decisions and moves ahead by setting big goals and delivering results in a time-bound manner. Prime Minister Modi said here on Thursday. Modi, who was in Oman on two-day visit, made the remarks during the interaction with the Indian students and community members here, who welcomed him with enthusiastic chants and applause. In his address, Modi described the audience as a mini India, drawing chants of Modi, Modi, Modi from those present. He noted the presence of people from various parts of India at the event and said, "Today we have all gathered like one family. Today we are celebrating our country and Dream India. In India, our diversity is the strong foundation of our culture." The Prime Minister underlined that coexistence and cooperation have been a hallmark of the Indian diaspora, highlighting India's transformational growth and development, its speed and scale of changes, and the strength of its economy. Modi cited its more than 8% growth in the last quarter. India is steady on the path to become India is steady on the path to becoming one of the fastest growing economies with a high growth rate. And this has happened when the world was beset with challenges. He said 21st century India takes its decisions and takes decisions swiftly, moves ahead with big goals and doesn't settle until it delivers results within a defined timeline, Modi said. At the Maitri Parab event, the audience included more than 700 students from various Indian schools. This year holds special significance for Indian school in Oman as they celebrate 50 years of their establishment in the country. The Prime Minister's office in New Delhi shared, emphasizing that knowledge has been at the center of India Oman ties. Modi said, now we have to aim for the next 50 years. So I will tell every youth, dream big, learn deeply, and innovate boldly so that they can contribute meaningfully to humanity. He described the Maitri Power as one that stands for maritime heritage, aspiration, innovation, trust and technology, respect and inclusive growth. This celebration is a festival of mutual friendship between the two countries, shared history and prosperous future he shared. Modi also affirmed that the India-Oman partnership was making itself future ready through AI collaboration, digital learning, innovation partnership and entrepreneurship exchange. He said the two nations are tied not just by geography but also by generation and called the diaspora the biggest custodian of this centuries old time. In his speech, the Prime Minister also hailed the recent decision of UNESCO to inscribe the Deepavali festival on the list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Our Diya, our lamp, will now illuminate not just our homes but the entire world. He said, adding that this global recognition for Diwali is a recognition of that light of ours which spreads the message of hope, amity, and humanity. He outlined achievements of the government in the last 11 years, saying there have been transformational changes in the country in the fields of infrastructure, development, manufacturing, healthcare, green growth, and women's empowerment. Modi said India was preparing itself for the 21st century through developing world-class innovation, startups, and a digital public infrastructure ecosystem. India's spirit is seen in our resolve and witnessed in our performances. Modi asserted, noting the growth in the number of AIMS institutions and medical colleges in India in the last 11 years. He also highlighted recent stellar achievements in the space sector from landing on the moon to the planned Gaganyaan human space mission. Modi said that space was an important part of collaboration between India and Oman and noted that ISRO has developed the Indian Oman space portal under a space collaboration agreement with Muscat. He also underscored that India was not just a market but a model for the world, from goods and services to digital solutions. Modi, who arrived here on Wednesday, met Oman Sultan Haitham bin Tariq Al Said after the community meet and discussed issues of mutual and bilateral interest. The two nations also signed a comprehensive economic partnership agreement marketing a major step in deepening their economic engagement. साल में 125 दिन के रोजगार की गारंटी। बीबी जी राम जी बनेंगे विकास का इंजन। पारदर्शिता जवाबदेही सामाजिक सुरक्षा होगी सुनिश्चित। Sunrisers bet on their net bowler Fullerta from Ahmedabad. The IPL windfall for truck driver son Mangesh from Bhopal. Deshwar hospitalized with gastroenteritis from Mumbai. Case persistence and patience that Rumal train from Mumbai. Mubapa has real survival test from Madrid. The WFI match presents at national camp mandatory from New Delhi. City Newcastle advanced to semi-final. Leon Brown returned to Ashes from Adelaide. All eyes on Sky and Gill. India took to Sin T21 series against lucky South Africa from Ahmedabad. Conway and Latrans season 23 run opening stand batters will duel. सीरिया में यूएस का ऑपरेशन हाई कम स्ट्राइक। आईएसआई पर हमलावर ट्रंप। नेशनल हेराल्ड केस में दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट पहुंची डी। सीरिया में आईएसआईएस पर अमेरिका का बड़ा हमला। अमेरिका का ऑपरेशन हॉक आई स्ट्राइक। अमेरिकी कर्मियों की मौत के बाद जवाबी कार्रवाई। अमेरिका ने सीरिया में आईएसआई पर किया बड़ा हमला। ऑपरेशन हाई कमांड स्ट्राइक के तहत 70 ठिकानों पर निशाना। अमेरिका का ऑपरेशन हाई कमांड स्ट्राइक 13 दिसंबर को सीरिया में हुई अमेरिकी सैनिकों की मौत का बता। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी आज पश्चिम बंगाल के दौरे पर रहेंगे। 2 अमेरिकी सैनिकों एक सिविलियन इंटरप्रेटर की हुई मौत। अमेरिका का ऑपरेशन हाई हॉकाई स्ट्राइक। सीरिया में लगभग 1000 अमेरिकी सैनिक मौजूद। प्रधानमंत्री पश्चिम बंगाल में नेशनल हेराल्ड का उद्घाटन। सीरिया सरकार ने अमेरिकी हमलों का किया समर्थन। सीरिया में आईएसआईएस पर अमेरिका का बड़ा हमला। अमेरिका का ऑपरेशन हॉकाई स्ट्राइक। प्रधानमंत्री आज करेंगे गुवाहाटी का दौरा। प्रधानमंत्री आज करेंगे असम का दौरा। सियासत सिंबल का आज राष्ट्र स्थापना दिवस। ऑपरेशन हॉकाई। अमित शाह एसएसबी ने हमेशा देश को गौरवान्वित किया। Supreme Court adjourns till January on hearing the Sun plea against arrested liquor scam case from New Delhi. 35 Bangladeshi fishermen detained for illegal entry from Kolkata. Repairing ourselves. The fact of breakage is as central. The fact of breakage is central to the human condition. We live in a world where endings happen whether or not we are prepared for them. Our instinct is to try and fix things or quarrel with the idea of breakage lies in this assumption of reversibility. We imagine that it is the duty of things to return to the way they once were. Code order Ajayutta applies for bail from Purging. 9 thank yous to Uttuk all for carrying out self-sacrificial operation hell. Opponents protest march in Park Complex. Purge was to take fight to streets from New Delhi. Cancer patients in India may rise to 20. Cancer patients in India may rise to million by 2040. Karnataka Assembly passes country's Madam Anti-Hate Speech Law. I thank all my brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students, scholars, teachers, trainers, professors, professionals, officer, official, listener, garden. I thank Honorable Ministerial Manager. I thank all respected student directors. I thank all honorable advocates, advisors, administrative advisors. I thank all of you, those who are listening, free and creators. Nice to see all of you. Good day, nice day, have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you.